Hey everybody, this is Jordan McConnell with the Crohn's Veteran Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I am joined by my amazing co-hosts, Renika Wood and CJ Cabrera. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great today. Hope you guys doing great as well.
Awesome,
Doing
awesome.
good.
So awesome to hear you guys are doing well. We are honored and grateful to have a very special guest with us today, Ellyn Mantell. She's an IBD advocate. She's an author. She's a motivational speaker. She's a volunteer. She's an all-around amazing person, and we're happy to have her. How you doing, ma'am?
I am so happy to be here. Thank you. Although as I told you, Jordan, I don't have diagnosed IBD.
Oh, that's my bad.
No, you didn't say that. I'm just saying, I just want people to understand. The first time I heard of IBD was after my hysterectomy, which is what kind of brought my ostomy into the picture. I saw my gynecologist and I said, "Oh, I am having terrible pain in my abdomen." And he said, "It's from your IBD." And I said, "I don't even know what that is." And he said, "Well, you have Crohn's." And I said, again, I don't know what that is. This was in 1992, and Crohn's was kind of out there, but certainly nothing that I knew anything about. He went on to tell me that a member of his family was very involved in Crohn's and identifying it and helping. And it just kind of was in the back of my mind, oh, there's some inflammatory process. That was what I took away. And that was pretty much what I knew of IBD until I began to become involved with the world of, I always had irritable bowel, and I always had constipation issues, had my first barium enema, which you guys are too young to even know what that is, but it was a very barbaric way of diagnosing colon issues. And I had my first one when I was 10 or 11 years old. I always suffered, but I learned how to deal with it. I became a long distance runner. I learned how to manage, and whatever it was that was making me very miserable was under control until I had my hysterectomy. And then 3 months after that, I had my first major adhesion, and it strangled my bowel. That started a series of horrific bowel obstructions. I lost 2 feet of my small intestine, peritonitis, my gallbladder was impacted, my kidneys, my pancreas, everything. And I was septic and very, very, very sick and not sure what the prognosis was, but I was able to pull myself together. 3 months later, the same thing happened again, and I realized I was really caught in something. To fast forward, I eventually had so many surgeries and was constantly dealing with bowel obstructions and incredible pain, was in the hospital every 3 weeks. And finally, the decision was made that I have an ileostomy, and that has changed my life. And it has changed my life in such a wonderful way, because not only physically has it changed my life, but the interaction I have with so many amazing people, many of whom in our group have Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. So I became increasingly aware of the fact that for Crohn's and ulcerative colitis sufferers, there is managing, and there is managing with medication, ostomy, whatever it is that needs to be done to get people into life. And so everything I do is to get people into life. I don't want to stop until Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, ostomy they are all household words that people can talk about, because we know that this is such a hidden, humiliating, terribly embarrassing situation. And we need to rise above that so that people know that there is a wonderful life out there.
Yeah, but we just had a guy on our show named Sean or Ted, Crohn's No More, and he's a fantastic example of that.
That's wonderful. There are so many. The amazing thing is there are 1 million ostomates in this country, 100,000 surgeries a year for ostomy. And the truth is nobody knows. Nobody knows who has an ostomy unless you want them to know. Right. That's the beauty. And the suffering that goes with Crohn's and ulcerative colitis it just radiates from a person, and to know that they are suffering so much it's heartbreaking. I assume, and if it's okay if I ask a question, because I'm always so curious to know, are the three of you on biologics? Are you, is that part of your protocol?
CJ, you probably go first on that.
Okay. Yes, I'm on Humira.
Okay.
I recently just got on it like a month ago, and it's going well so far.
Good. You're seeing, in what way do you see a difference?
The reduction of inflammation in my joints.
In your joints. Okay. So in addition to the colon and small intestine issues, you are also suffering from the joints.
Yes, arthritis.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Renika?
Well, nice to meet you once again. So for me, I have taken all the biologics out there, and I'm on my last one. I think it's called my saving grace. It's Stelara.
Okay.
Stelara has allowed me to achieve remission.
Wonderful.
I've been taking them for almost 2 years, but I also have an ostomy as well.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Okay. An ileostomy.
I have a colostomy.
A colostomy. So it's on your left side.
That's correct, my left side. So I took the accountability and the decision to go full force with the closed-in ostomy on April the 2nd. Prior to that, I had a loop ostomy that I had from December of 2019 up until April of this year. And I had really started to feel better. The only difference that I can see with the only challenge I had prior to was not knowing how I would be perceived, the stigma, my self-esteem had to be rebuilt, still working on that right now. And just telling someone newly you meet that, hey, I'm Renika, I have an ostomy, just getting over those uncomfortable, whatnot conversations initially. But now I talk about it openly. My medications, my Stelara, have allowed me to have a more thriving life along with the ostomy. So I can say where I am today is 100 million times better than I was in 2000.
Well, I think I can see that on your face. You are radiant. You are radiant.
Thank you.
That radiance comes from knowing that not only did you take control of the situation, but that you are in control.
Definitely.
That is wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to hear that. We have to get back to your colostomy. How about you, Jordan? Are you on medication?
Yeah, I'm on medication. I take not on biologics anymore at the moment, but right now I take a medicine called Prevolite, for that helps with my bile acid malabsorption in addition to Crohn's disease.
So you've had multiple surgeries?
I have, and so I've had 2 feet of my colon taken out, my appendix and ileum taken out. So that second surgery did solve a lot of problems. I was in pretty bad shape, but the consequences of that were kind of pretty dire and stuff. And so, but as far as beyond that, I have a pretty good quality of life.
Wonderful, wonderful. And CJ, I hope that the biologics continue to help your inflammation in your joints. And that's the other thing, is that people have no idea that this is not just in one particular part of the body.
Right.
Do you look to your family? Is this a familial thing in your family?
For me, when I got diagnosed, I thought it was just me. And through me educating my family about what I have going on, what I tried to, I gave them what I had to offer at the time. Now I'm more educated. I've learned that my first cousin also has Crohn's, who's my mom's sister's daughter. And I was telling the guys that I want to say my grandmother suffered from IBD. When we was younger, she would always have frequent bowel movements. She could never eat anything dairy related, anything green. And not knowing at that I was a kid, I was like, now I think she had some form of IBD. Yeah.
This is what I say to my kids. Just had this conversation with my daughter, one of my daughters. I have two daughters, and they are extremely tuned into all of this. And my granddaughters have a lot. Everyone has a number of issues to deal with. And I say, the fact that my doctor said, oh, you have Crohn's, and it was never verified, who knows, in 15, 20 years, one of my granddaughters doesn't say, oh, yes, that's what my grandmother had, but they didn't know at the time.
Right.
So nobody really, this is all so new, and all three of you are quite young. The concept of a digestive disorder or disease was just so foreign to people. Everything was diagnosed as irritable bowel syndrome, and you either had irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or with diarrhea, and that was it. And
it's kind of interesting you said that, because that's my mom. That's kind of what she says. They know that she has irritable bowel syndrome, and that's probably the same thing. But what she actually has is, who knows, right?
Right, and we didn't know about dairy or celiac issues or gluten or all of those. So we've come such a long way. But my guess is the book is not written yet on what the ramifications are. And all of these new biologics are game changers, not just for this kind of inflammation, but as CJ is saying, for rheumatoid arthritis and so many other issues that people are dealing with all the time.
Definitely.
Ellyn, can you speak on, a little bit, about, this is kind of because you just said something a little bit, but I'm curious about your book. And how that came to be, the thinking behind it, and all that. So you can just provide our listeners.
Well, thank you for asking. It's called So Much More Than My Ostomy: Loving My Perfectly Imperfect Body. The reason I decided to write the book is I didn't want to just write another book on ostomy. There are a number of them out there. Many of them are written by wound and ostomy continence nurses, so they're very technical. Then there are a whole bunch of books that are written that are very snarky about putting down the whole concept of this part of our body. I did not want that. I wanted a book that was motivational, informational, and inspiring. So I decided to, I'll start from the end. I decided to end the book with my favorite chapter, which is chapter 7, which interviews people, women particularly, who suffer from or deal with all sorts of challenges, emotional, diabetes, breast cancer, all sorts of different issues, including my own children and granddaughters. One of my granddaughters is dyslexic. One of them has Tourette syndrome. So I decided to finish the book with that, to make it very inspirational. But the beginning of the book and all through are very hands-on tools to live your best life, tools to manage what the information we get from the internet, for example, but how to use it in our own lives and how to not be run by the information we see on the information highway, because it's not necessarily applicable to each of us. It's also, so I bust all the myths about ostomy, that we smell, that we leak, we can't eat any foods, we can't be intimate. We have so many we can'ts. And of course, that's all an illusion. We can. And the whole thing is we can go swimming, we can do all those things. So the book is very, very pro living your best life. And that's I think every single chapter begins and ends with that concept. So as somebody said upon reading it, prepare to be inspired, because that's what I want everyone who reads the book to feel, that whether they're dealing with an ostomy or diabetes or arthritis or any of the myriad of issues that people face, I want them to know they're not alone, that there are ways to reach out. Support groups are so important. I'll tell you a little bit about support groups because I'm president of I was named president of one support group, which is in the hospital where I had my surgery. And that has grown from 9 people to 97.
Wow.
Needless to say, we don't all get together every month, but there are 97 names in my index. And then I decided that New Jersey is highly populated, but yet there are not that many support groups. So I have started 2 additional support groups. And this month I am meeting with the powers that be to start my 4th support group. I believe in support. I know you can't really see, but I always wear a flower.
I love it.
Because I want people to know that when I speak with them, because I speak with everyone who's interested in joining, I tell them I'll meet you at in the lobby and I'll be wearing a flower. But it's also, and Renika is going to identify with, it's because our stoma looks like a little flower.
It does.
So it's my way. And over the years, I've received so many beautiful flowers.
Oh,
This is my way of saying life is good.
definitely. It is awesome. Just hearing you speak about, wow, I've got to get tear-eyed. I'm so emotional, but it's beautiful. Like, that is beautiful. I would love to read your book, like just the different chapters you mentioned. I'm looking like, I done heard all those myths, and I have heard them, but I had to really change the mindset of what people think about people with ostomy. So, do you mind sharing with the audience, like, where a person can get the book from?
Oh, sure. It's on Amazon. It's also Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
Warren Publishing published it, so one can get it there. And it's in soft cover. This happens to be hardcover, but it's in soft cover. And again, Renika, you and I know that this little stoma here, mine is on my right side, because for those who are not knowledgeable about location, an ileostomy is on the right side because it comes from the small intestine.
Right.
A colostomy is on the left side because it typically comes from the sigmoid colon.
Right.
And the surgery, and it's good for people to understand the surgery because then they're not so frightened by it. Mm-hmm. The surgeon literally takes the loop of bowel and makes an incision in the wall, pulls the loop of bowel up and sutures it so that the stool just comes through this opening. That's the whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's just a diversion. It's a diversion outlet. That's it. And so the fear people have around it, and particularly Jordan and CJ, because you're in this world. Ostomy can be in the future of so many with Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. In our group, in my groups, we have people who come to the meetings because they know at some point they're going to have an ostomy and they want to understand it. They want to normalize and feel comfortable with it. And with the new supplies, and again, Renika, you're so young, and my ostomy is only 7 years old, so I'm fairly young as an ostomate. The supplies the appliances have changed so much. People don't have to, I mean, they tell the story of Napoleon Bonaparte, how he always kept his hand under his jacket, under his vest. Well, they say that it's because he had an ostomy.
Wow.
And they had to, what they did is they carved a sheep's abdomen, a belly of a sheep, and taped it to him. And he was always holding it in place because there was no other way to catch the stool. So we've certainly come so far because our new appliances are clean and awesome and available. And
isn't it amazing that you can be an emperor and and have that going on?
Exactly. And he probably had my guess is in battle, he may have they may have eviscerated him in some way. So that, that happened. But even I've been reading about the Pope's surgery. The Pope recently had surgery over the weekend. I don't know if he had an ostomy. They have not said, but with diverticulitis, a lot of times they do a temporary ostomy, and that way the person has a chance for the bowels to heal. So we may find out at some point that was the decision, but it's a lifesaver, and that's
It also.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say it also increases your quality of life.
for sure.
It is not the end of the world, gents. I just gotta say that it's not the end of the world.
It is not the end of the world, and I'm so proud to say that in 2019 I was named the Mighty Advocate of the Year by the United Ostomy Associations of America. And I think what made me most proud was that it's not because I set out to make changes. I set out to show people how change is so positive. That's the thing, is if there's a takeaway for anyone listening, it's that this is, you have to deal with what life throws at you. You have no choice. You have to face it. You have to get your strength. You have to know that you are powerful. You have to know that you can do this. And for me, many times it was, if I was rushed to the hospital, my husband would bring my running shoes. So as soon as I was up and around, I would walk and walk and walk, and because it gave me strength and power. Whatever it is that is your talisman for your strength and power, you have to know you have it. None of us know how strong we are until we're pushed.
Right.
Renika, you found out how strong you are.
You know what? And as you sharing that, I was thinking about just my journey and how fearful I was. I did not think I can even tell one person about my situation, let alone two, let alone discuss it on my podcast. I didn't even think I even had the confidence to even look at myself when I would get dressed or even wear certain clothes, because I felt like, oh my God, everyone's gonna see it.
Well, you'll love my book because there's so much about fashion in my book.
I love fashion.
I'm a fashion lady, and I talk a lot about dressing with an ostomy.
Definitely, I'm glad you said that. But now that I have it, that I have my ostomy, I feel as if what the things that I was worried about were not even things of importance.
Right. And you
Not
had
important
during
enough.
COVID. You had your
I did.
surgery during COVID. You
I
poor
had
thing.
I had it this past
That's-
April.
Are you in a support group?
Well, I'm a part of let me say this. Where I'm located, I don't have a support group here locally, but I have one that I have online with
You
the
can
fellows.
join ours. I'd love to have you.
Okay.
If you and I can separately connect,
Definitely.
you guys are welcome too, because we're part of the crowd. But I'd be happy to have you while we're remote or virtual, whatever, Zooming. I'd love to have you. You would love our group.
Thank you.
Everyone is so welcoming and inspiring. And one woman, just about every single meeting at the end, she starts to cry and she says, I'm so inspired by everyone. And it's like, okay, a meeting isn't a meeting if Judy doesn't cry.
Right. Definitely. Thank you. I'd be delighted. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, Jordan has my email address, so I'd love that.
Okay, thank you.
I'll get it. Yeah, I'll get it to you, Renika. Well, awesome. Well, and so but so beyond, so we're not taking over the world, I guess, through support groups. What are some of the other things that that you do in your free time?
Oh, I love to, well, I am a writer. I love to write. I love to share my life. I'm very fortunately married for over 50 years to my high school sweetheart.
Awesome.
We have a really wonderful, wonderful life together. Thank you, God. I have two beautiful daughters, two sons-in-law, two granddaughters, two grandsons, and 4 grandpuppies. So I get to see them. I knit, I work out. Oh, I work out every single day. And I start my morning every single morning. And Renika, you may like this, because we can tendency to dehydrate with our ostomies. I have watermelon every single morning at breakfast before I work out, because then I have that fluid.
Okay.
And that's also mentioned in my book. I'm a big one on staying hydrated.
Okay.
And you have beautiful skin. Many people with ostomies do not take good care of their skin, and the dehydration and the same thing even with Crohn's. You have to baby yourself a little bit more and take care of yourself. But you guys look like you do pretty well. So, but I have a very full life with many wonderful friends, and honestly, I spend a tremendous amount of time either visiting people with ostomy or speaking with people. It's a big part of my life. Probably the one thing I never anticipated was mentoring so many people, but it is so joyful to see them turn the corner and enjoy their lives.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, with that, and I know how to find you, but could you please let our audience know, like, how they can reach you, how they can support you. We already know how we can get your book. Also, is your book on Audible by any chance?
No, it is not. I assume at some point it will, and I also assume at some point it will be translated into other languages, because I think some of the doctors who have read the book have said to me that they keep it in their library because they feel that it's such a positive way of looking at the situation. So maybe at some point it will be, and I will certainly let you know, Jordan. This has just been such a wonderful connection for me. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And again, guys, you can find reach out to Ellyn at her website, morethananostomy.com. You can support Crohn's Veteran at crohnsveteran.com. And also, we are very honored to announce that we've been nominated for the WeGo Health Awards Best in Show podcast, the Rookie of the Year, and also advocating for others for 2021.
Oh, That is so
So-
wonderful.
So please nominate us.
Please.
So every single, every single nomination matters. Your support, everybody's support matters. And so, so we encourage you guys to go to the Crohn's Veteran website. You can nominate us there. You can go to Legal Health and nominate us there. And of course, you can go to our bios on Instagram too, and you can nominate us there too. So
I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you.
accomplishment.
Thank you very much. And also, you can check us out on all the podcasting platforms. We're on, we're on Anchor, we're on Spotify, Apple, Google, all that stuff. We're on YouTube. Follow us, subscribe to us there. And of course, we're on Twitch, Discord, all kind of fun places. So this
Everywhere.
yeah, everywhere. So like,
I love
we
it.
appreciate.
I love
So,
it.
and so we
I have to
appreciate
get my grandchildren to help me understand all of this.
that too. And then so we're proud to report that we're the #2 IBD podcast in the world. And so again, everyone, that would not be possible without amazing guests like Ellyn Mantell here and all of our great listeners. And so we encourage everybody to please help us support and make Crohn's Veteran an even bigger platform all over the world. So
Thank you, everyone.
and
Great
of
job.
course, yeah. And if anybody is interested in helping us grow our company, grow this brand, grow this lifestyle that we're doing, reach out to me personally at jordan@crohnsveteran.com. And I think that's it.
That is it.
That's a wrap, as they say.
Yeah, so
Real.
So
Thank you.
So again, Ellyn, we sincerely appreciate your time and your
It
insight.
was my pleasure, truly. It was a wonderful pleasure. And Renika, I'm going to see you again very soon.
Please.
DJ, lots of good luck.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
My